was actually having this debate with someone the other day, and I totally agree with everything you're saying. What my friend was basically saying, like, what do we do about kind of political correctness kind of gone mad? Like, if we're going kind of the whole way the other way, how do we find that middle ground? And I was struggling to answer because obviously I believe very much in diversity and inclusion. He works for a company that, doing the same thing, but they're like, well, okay, we can't do anything anymore. Where is that balance, I guess, and how do we solve it? Sorry, big question.
That's a good question. I love it. Thank you. I think sometimes you have to choose your battles. So sometimes if people are up for the conversation, then definitely have it. There's a book that I listened to on audio actually, but I don't know if you're familiar with James O'Brien. He's a LBC.
Yeah, I like James O'Brien.
Yeah, he's got a book called How to Be Right in a World Gone Wrong. If you're not familiar with it, I'd really recommend it. And he kind of admits in the first half that he was a bit like, I'm right, you're wrong, for the first half of his career, which I don't think is that helpful. I think we need to get to a place of listening to each other's perspectives, whether or not we agree, and seek to understand where that perspective has come from. And in the second half of his book, he kind of deconstructs that a bit. So the audiobook's great because he uses clips from his radio sessions of listeners ringing in with a view, a very firm view about something, and he'll just walk them through and ask questions and seek to understand where that view has come from. And just gently, really gently, which I think is the right way, deconstructs or just challenges that thinking, because the reality is we're all so heavily influenced by the 5 or 6 people we spend most of our time with. So if that's your view, that's your family's view, that's your friend's view, that's the people you work with view, etc. One person isn't going to challenge that in one conversation. So I think you kind of have to start with conserving your own energy, because sometimes this stuff's just hard and it takes a toll, and particularly if people sharing their own personal experiences. But my absolute advice is gently, one conversation at a time, and seek to understand the other person's perspective.
Hi. This is just, I guess, extending on to Dan's point, and what you've just answered. How would you advise larger corporations to take that gently approach rather than a knee-jerk reaction to please the masses or the press, or because you do end up alienating another group? So what's the answer there? Or is there an answer yet?
That's a great question as well. I love these questions. The biggest thing I talk to organisations about is slow down and listen. If you jump to action, you will get it wrong, and you will end up, being a little bit insensitive unintentionally, and being called out potentially for not being authentic in your approach, and kind of, wanting to rush to show that the organisation is good. Whereas if you can slow down, speak to people, and get those, speak all of those alternative perspectives. What should we do? What feels right in this organisation with our people, with the situation that's happened at the moment? The biggest thing is listen. I think it's quite hard for people who've kind of progressed in their career. They get to a point where they think they're supposed to know everything, and action is the ultimate go-to. So listening and slowing down all the time, but in terms of if there's something specific to respond to. And then I guess the even bigger question is, as an organisation, if you don't yet know what you stand for and where you are on these things, then you need a plan, because otherwise you're kind of, today I'm doing this, and tomorrow I'm doing that, and the next day I'm doing this. Whereas if you've got a plan that your whole organisation can get behind from an employee experience point of view, and also the consumer experience, then it's much easier when some of those more sensitive things come up, world events happen. You've already got, this workforce and this group of people who know what your brand is about, know what you care about, and can collectively make those decisions.
Great, thanks so much for coming in, Catherine. That was really interesting.
Thanks, Catherine.
Oh, thank you. I hope you could hear everything okay.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.